Imagine a Canada where affordable housing is not just a hope but a tangible reality, where governments step beyond policymaking and directly build the homes Canadians desperately need. For years, Canada's housing crisis has left renters and first-time buyers locked out of markets, with soaring prices and shrinking inventory. But in 2025, a fresh and ambitious strategy is emerging that could reshape the landscape forever. The federal Liberal government has unveiled the first concrete details of the Build Canada Homes initiative, a program designed to make the government both a developer and a financier of affordable housing projects across the country. This marks a significant shift from past policies that relied heavily on private developers and subsidies. Simultaneously, Toronto's Mayor Olivia Chow has announced a major local funding boost, nearly $1 billion for 14,000 new homes, while aligning with the federal government's offer of $2.25 billion in low-interest loans to spur thousands of rental units. Added incentives like development charge relief and tax breaks for maintaining affordability are designed to encourage developers to deliver homes that stay affordable over the long term. What does all this mean for Canada's housing crunch? Let's explore the details, the potential impact, and why this may be a pivotal moment in the country's housing history. The Build Canada Homes Initiative, government as developer and financier. The Build Canada Homes program signals a paradigm shift. For the first time, the federal government plans to take on the roles traditionally held by private developers, not only financing but actively developing affordable housing projects. Why this matters? Canada's housing supply shortage is a structural problem that subsidies and tax credits alone have failed to solve. By stepping into the development space directly, the government hopes to accelerate the creation of affordable units, ensure long-term affordability by controlling ownership and management, reduce reliance on fluctuating private market incentives, facilitate coordination across provinces and municipalities. Upcoming public consultations will shape how exactly this initiative rolls out. But the core message is clear. Government wants to be part of the solution, not just an observer. Toronto's bold funding boost. Nearly $1 billion for 14,000 homes. On the municipal front, Toronto is matching federal ambition with a substantial financial commitment. Mayor Olivia Chow announced nearly $1 billion earmarked for building 14,000 homes across the city, an aggressive goal considering Toronto's population pressures and high housing costs. This funding aims to support a range of housing types, including rental units, co-ops, and affordable ownership models. Provide incentives for developers who commit to maintaining affordability, reduce financial barriers through development charge relief and tax breaks on eligible units. Mayor Chow's announcement is complemented by the federal government's offer of $2.25 billion in low-interest loans targeted specifically at affordable rental projects in Toronto, significantly lowering borrowing costs for developers. Development charge relief and tax breaks, tools to encourage affordability. One of the biggest challenges developers face is the cost burden of fees and taxes imposed by municipalities, often passed on to buyers or renters. Toronto's new policy includes development charge relief. Developers building units that meet affordability criteria can get reductions or exemptions on these fees. Tax breaks. Property tax incentives for projects that commit to keeping rents or sales prices affordable for long periods. These tools are designed to make affordable projects financially viable, encouraging developers to prioritize affordability over luxury or speculative builds. What could this mean for renters and buyers? If executed effectively, these policy moves could increase the supply of affordable rental and ownership housing, easing pressure on prices, improve housing stability for lower and middle-income Canadians, spur economic activity and job creation in construction and related sectors, reduce dependence on market forces alone to solve a deeply entrenched problem. However, success depends on efficient coordination between federal, provincial, and municipal levels, clear affordability definitions and enforcement, adequate funding and political commitment beyond initial announcements. Challenges and criticisms. No policy is without its challenges. Some concerns include the risk of bureaucratic delays or mismanagement if the government takes on large-scale development roles. Ensuring developments meet the actual needs of diverse communities, including indigenous peoples and vulnerable populations, balancing market intervention with private sector incentives to avoid unintended consequences. Still, many experts agree that the scale of Canada's housing crisis requires bold interventions, and Build Canada Homes may be an important step. Looking ahead, how you can get involved. The federal government has announced public consultations to help shape the initiative's direction, an opportunity for citizens, housing advocates, and industry stakeholders to have their voices heard. Whether you're a renter struggling with affordability, a first-time buyer, a developer, or just a concerned Canadian, your input could influence how these programs evolve. Final thoughts. A turning point for Canadian housing? Canada's housing affordability crisis has been years in the making, with rising prices and shrinking options frustrating millions. The new government initiatives, from the federal Build Canada Homes program to Toronto's local funding surge, offer a fresh, proactive approach that goes beyond incentives and subsidies. By becoming direct players in housing development and lowering financial barriers for affordable projects, governments may finally be tackling the problem at its core. But this is just the beginning. Will these bold moves deliver the homes Canadians need, or will challenges slow progress? What do you think? Should governments build and finance affordable housing directly, or should they focus on supporting the private market? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Let's get this important conversation started.